friends, Harvey Michaels here. Welcome back to our wild ride with Danshui President Plunge Spear Bloom, a story that had me on the edge of my seat while writing it. I'm excited to share a taste with you today. If you're new here, go ahead and tap that like button and subscribe. You won't want to miss what's coming next. All right, let's jump in. Romeo calls Kingfish. Romeo felt worse than he thought possible. His throat was raw from puking. His body was twitching and moaning and protesting everywhere, every which way for more drugs. Everything he had eaten, he vomited up. Now all his muscles felt starved for nourishment of any kind other than liquor, but it only registered in his mind as the hunger for relief. Gradually, stepping down the fish chopper stairs, he gained circulation in his muscles and felt another kind of high swell in him, hope. He pictured his own hungover appearance, the teeth grinding tortured expression, and forced the scowl off his face as he tromped over broken glass from the busted front door windows. Romeo briskly strode through the broken cement parking lot, looking like something the cat dragged in. The goofy smile was out of place on his half-peeled, painful-looking and painful-to-look-at face. He saw the parked black pickup truck D came in and turned resolutely away on his errand. Playing a tape in his head, a fantasized record of his glory days, was his default thing to do, to psych himself up for a task he wasn't looking forward to or just to kill time. His fantasies were all radically enhanced memories and unachieved dreams, with Romeo the Great starring in each scene. Boat tech people in the best-known boat shop in Keelung gather around Romeo. They chat up the hypothetical idea of someone actually insane enough to tackle 15 kilometers of super typhoon seas in a Zodiac to meet a fishing trawler. The gathered men, there to hear and see Romeo the Great, all agree that if it could be done, Romeo had the ultimate semi-inflatable powerboat for the job. They grudgingly admit the job was possible as long as Romeo skippered the craft on the raging seas none of them would dare to contemplate facing. Romeo's smile and his gait widened as this fantasy played. He rounded the corner, ignoring the bizarre Humvee police vehicle beginning a left turn as the light changed green. He started up the hill to the convenience store with a public telephone outside. He started fantasizing down a list of Romeo's real and yet to finish or even start inventions. He kept lists on paper and in his head both. His eyes flickered as he called up menus of his gadget creations, 99% imaginary, then his favorite girls, and then again those men at the boat shop he admired and conjured admiration in return from. His brain was a user-friendly smartphone of coveted delights. Romeo pictured a string of police Kingfish assigned him to keep in line, because his father wanted the dirty cops to be tied closer to his family business. Kingfish had Romeo deliver the money or the drugs and bring messages to these corrupt police. Romeo kept the lists and records for his father. No one but me. Now that list bloomed, became cops praising and admiring Romeo in his mind. He had to stop and straighten up against a light pole to ease the cramping that seized his upper stomach and was threatening to grow throughout his whole torso. His panting fear of full-on cramping gave way to grumbling complaints about anyone and everyone responsible for his plight other than himself. Kingfish's transgressions toward Romeo were on another secret mental list he updated regularly. His father was the one who gave Romeo access to unlimited roofies, the date rape drug, and later showered sideways derisive looks at Romeo after hundreds became thousands of female conquests. No one could match Romeo's appetite for female flesh when he felt as if taken over, in Romeo's mind, somehow a gift from his father. But Kingfish's non-verbalized contempt for Romeo's sexual escapades was a thorn in Romeo's side. There were other slights, not only those sideways glances. Every so often, Kingfish placed a bottle of cologne in Romeo's hand. Each time he pointed to Romeo's hair and recoiled, scrunching up his face in revulsion, as if Romeo were a skunk or some other varmint, not his flesh and blood son. His stomach muscles finally released after Romeo kept facing the light pole and stretching upward to fend off the cramp. He relaxed and felt dizzy and thought he might have to throw up, but the nausea went away. Turning toward the convenience store, Romeo took slow steps at first, in case the dizziness or the cramps returned. Romeo remembered his most distant memory being beaten savagely by a much younger Kingfish, and then his father bringing in the young neighbor girl who came and put medicine on Romeo's most private area welts, wounds from his father's leather belt. Rather than angering him, the memory aroused Romeo. Roofies were Romeo's way to get girls he wanted, the way he wanted. He chatted them up, and if they had immature personalities and youngish looks, he got them drinking and then drugged them and had his way, forcing them to indulge him in sick games, himself overcome by a force in his mind, fantasizing they were young children. The experience deeply traumatized some of them, but some came back asking for more of the same treatment. Several went to the local police, who said, "No DNA evidence, no rape." Romeo was a hypochondriac, so he always used condoms. The girls admitted to drinking, so the same corrupted precinct officers didn't do drug tests and justified not taking rape charges seriously. Over years, Romeo did this many hundreds of times, so there were anomalies. Several times, male siblings or a father or an uncle came to the club, but that never got them anywhere, since Romeo could easily be hidden or spirited away and bought-off police could be called on the trespassers. One brother didn't give up. He hung around so long he eventually found Romeo. The A-team was on it, though, beat him senseless, and Kingfish told them to drug the brother and put him on a boat, slang among them meaning prep him for execution. Roofies were for the girls, cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and seconal for Romeo and the A-team. Kingfish kept the drugs flowing. They arrived by the tens of kilograms in occasional smuggling opportunities over the years. Stashing it all, Kingfish used it like he did his cash, for power and creative entertainment schemes. They brought it in semi-regularly, never using half of it. Now there is a giant stockpile. Romeo knows the details, the numbers. The last years, they always brought the drugs into Taiwan inside dead porpoises they usually chopped for chum in the famed fish chopper. Kingfish frowned on the drug business. He made a core rule that anyone who sold any of their drugs must die horribly. The cache of drug inventory was all used to control and bribe many people, from the nightclub staff to dirty cops and Kingfish's A-team. Romeo swelled with pride, thinking how he was the key man, Kingfish's linchpin. He believed he was the only person with the drug lists, names, dates, past and current figures. His face, cracked hideously from the abuse it took piloting a Zodiac in yesterday's super typhoon seas, broke into a giggling smile at his father's confidence and trust in his handsome playboy son. Romeo saw he had less than 50 meters before he was at the store, so he hurried to begin his favorite fantasy of the super weapon he actually pulled off with Turtle Skipper's help. Thinking of this, he chuckled humorlessly, a menacing, evil laugh. They offer 10E! That's a lot of money, and passage to Vietnam for 10 people, then 7 more E when we get there. It's all lies. They killed your brother. It's time to kill them all. You have to call the A-team to come, and then we will leave the country ourselves from Taichung. Leaving? When? Listen, now is all that matters, Romeo. You also have to call the Black Pearl cell phone detonator. You know how, right? There's a 10-minute delay in case Turtle Skipper calls and changes his tune. But Coco... Kingfish's tone is briefly compassionate, persuasive, before commanding like a general. Stop it, my son. Everything's all on you, but you can do it. You must. Call and trigger Black Pearl bomb. Wake up the A-team to come help you clean up and take you together to meet me, and then we all go together to our new life. After you make the calls, go back and shoot them. Kill them all. Romeo pulls out the plastic phone card and reinserts it in the same public phone to make another call. He punches in A-team leader Lao Da's number. No answer after 10 long rings. He calls each of the A-team's cell phone numbers with the same result and then starts over with Lao Da again. Romeo is patient and takes the chance to think about his father's surprise for his guest there, Willie. Each time the public phone automatically disconnects after 10 rings, Romeo reinserts the phone card and calls again. His rage is kindled and burns hot. He tries to remember how many times he had to start over to scold whoever finally answers the phone. Romeo loses count after 11 redial cycles, his mind numb and infuriated at the same time. He is ready to hammer down the phone handle again when Lao R finally answers. Huh? Hey, what time is it? He weakly croaks the words out. A-team number 2, Lao R, is still high and drunk both. The sky is darkening, but remains light outside. He thinks it's Sunday morning, not Saturday afternoon. This is Romeo. Stand up, right now. Stand up while we talk. Romeo turns his head in a stretching circle, thinking of his next words, giving Laar time to stand. We have an emergency at the fish chopper. Get everyone here now. You got that? Are you standing up? Laar! Smelly, disheveled Romeo with red, peeling, painful-looking typhoon saltwater-blown wounds covering his face is shouting, projecting spit into the public phone. Some people exiting the convenience store turn far away from him, thinking he is a mentally disturbed street person. Romeo and Hunter always left the A-team to Kingfish's doing, but the A-team knew Romeo and Hunter were family and outranked the A-team, even though there were many things the A-team did and knew what Kingfish's sons did not. Romeo, I am awake. We will get there right away. He cleared his throat and did not hang up. The ranking person always had to hang up. Well, stop talking to me then. Romeo did not know the deal about the ranking person has to hang up. As Romeo reads off a slip of paper he took from his pocket and punches in the numbers for the cell phone detonator to the explosive device over Black Pearl's fuel tank, He remembers how long he tried calling the A-team in vain, waiting for them to answer. If he called the detonator number first on that 20-kilogram C4 bomb, the 10-minute delay would have gone past and already made the big bang. He laughs, recalling putting together the bomb that will now kill Turtle Skipper with Turtle Skipper's own help. Making a shaped charge of plastic explosive is tricky and dangerous. Why would you want to risk such an extreme thing? Turtle Skipper asked before explaining how to do it in plain factual steps, the same way he always explained things, from tying knots to machining a tool piece. Romeo told Turtle Skipper it was a hypothetical situation, wink wink, to blow off a finger of jutting rock from the mouth of a small fishing village port for a friend. Well, be careful, Romeo, or you'll be the jutting out thing blown off. When Kingfish had Romeo set the plastic explosive bomb under the bottom cabin floor of Black Pearl 3 weeks earlier, Romeo was only a little surprised. Although he often bragged over the years about his amazing skipper, Romeo knew Kingfish held a grudge against Turtle Skipper for being incorruptible. Kingfish told Romeo just days before he hadn't decided what to do about Turtle Skipper and his most beguiling daughter. But now it was official. His father decided to extinguish them both. Romeo sighs for the waste of killing Coco. Yang Ming-san, A-team apartment. Lao shouts nonstop to get up, opening and slamming each bedroom door, first the doors near his, then on the other side of the apartment, the B-team rooms. Walking back to his own room, he makes sure Lao Da, Lao San, and Lao Ying are up. They each move swiftly, concentrating on putting on their own clothes, grabbing phones and guns. They get to the front door and are alarmed. The B-team is not with them. Get cold water, Lao Da orders Lao R and Lao San. He and Lao Ying rush in and soundly slap the first B-team guy, Abao, on both sides of his face. Then Lao R shows up and dumps a pitcher of cold water over Abao's head. Get dressed. Kingfish says we have to get to the fish chopper. With your guns, now. They leave Abao and go to give the other B-team guy Jin Sung the same treatment. At the door, Lao Da turns back and bellows a threat. You better be out this door right away. The big Jeep burns rubber out of the driveway. The three not driving each look at their phones. Line text from Kingfish says to abort and secure the hostages alive. Ignore that. Don't answer it. No way it was from Kingfish. If it's real, more messages or calls will come. We'll line him after we finish at the fish chopper. We're probably just cleaning up after Romeo, but we have to be ready for whatever. The A-team clearly told the B-team that Kingfish said hurry, but the B-team pair partying all night with them were undisciplined at extreme debauchery. The B-teamers drowned their buried fears of what almost happened the day before in more than copious amounts of liquor and drugs. They had gone far past their limits. The A-team viciously slapped both of them over and over to wake them, get them going. The loud, stinging blows left marks, but any protests stayed muted. Both of them still want more than anything to join the A-team. Cold water and slaps only brought them halfway out of their stupor. Without saying why, they come further out of most of their trance because of the great rising anxiety of an envisioned wrathful Kingfish. Their stupor vanishes to nothing when they can't find their keys, despite turning everything over in the house and drinking glasses of water to think and to relieve their mighty thirst. They are practically crying in angst when Abao bolts out the front door and shortly after calls back, "They're in the Jeep." Abao's cousin Jinsung sprints to the Jeep in barefoot, carrying his boots. "Where are the guns?" he loudly whispers. "I'll get them," Abao moans and takes a few steps toward the apartment before vomiting outside the front door. And that's a wrap for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. What stood out to you? If you're enjoying the journey, please share with a friend. It means the world to me. Want to hold the whole Danshui President Plunge adventure in your hand? It's waiting for you on Amazon. And if you do, please leave a quick review. Until next time, take care. I'll be right here ready for the next chapter. See you then.